What up, Hoopers? Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Coming your way right now, NBA Mailbag, where I answer all of your NBA-related questions. It can be about the draft, which is in a couple of weeks. It can be about NBA free agency, the NBA offseason, or the NBA Finals. I'm open game. You can ask me anything, so let's get to it. Let's kick off this mailbag with this super chat. $5 coming in from Bryant Coart. Hopefully I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. Do the Bulls get Lonzo Ball this offseason? I'll tell you this, Bryant. Going into the NBA trade deadline, you know who I wanted the Bulls to target? Lonzo Ball. I thought he would have been a great fit. Because what Stan Van Gundy was doing last year, he was experimenting a lot with Zion Williamson running point guard, especially on the fast break, which then caused Lonzo Ball to almost be a 3-and-D wing or a 2-guard who just kind of camps out on the perimeter. That's not his best skill set. He's best when he's creating, when he's in the open floor, when he's using that tremendous vision and passing ability. I'd love to see him in a traditional point guard role. And on the Bulls with a guy like Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, I think he'd work really well. He finally gets a really good coach to pair up with too, and Billy Donovan. I'm all for it. He's a restricted free agent though, so that's why it might not come to fruition. Jason Kreider chiming in with this question. Simmons to the Nets for DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Joe Harris. I don't think that gets it done. First of all, DeAndre Jordan is washed. He has nothing left in the tank. He barely played in the NBA playoffs at all. That tells you all you need to know. Spencer Dinwiddie opted out of his deal, so he's free to become an NBA free agent. And I think he's going to be able to secure the bag somewhere because he provides a lot of value with his scoring ability coming off that partially torn ACL. Joe Harris, I'm somewhat intrigued by it, but if you think about him teaming up on the Sixers with a guy like Seth Curry, very similar players who aren't great defenders, so I just don't think the fit works all that well, Jason. How about this question from Rick Boss? Not quite Rick Ross, but Ricky Rose. He's got some bars. What are the odds that LeBron, AD, and Ben Simmons all play for the Lakers since they're a part of Clutch Sports? If we've learned anything over the last couple of years, it is this. Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, who represents LeBron, AD, Ben Simmons, and a whole host of other elite players across the league, can make any trade happen across the NBA. And for all of the salary cap nerds out there who say, Lakers can't make it work, this team can't make it work, we're living in the player empowerment era right now, okay? So trades can really happen at any point. Of course, the Lakers would have to do a lot of salary cap maneuvering. Do I think Simmons is going to go to the Lakers this offseason? No. At some point in his career, maybe. But by the time he goes to LA, is LeBron going to be retired? Where's AD going to be? I can tell you this, Rich Paul is going to try to get his client, Ben Simmons, to the Lakers probably. But who the hell would the Lakers give up for Ben Simmons? And who would the Sixers want in exchange for him? Kyle Kuzma, KCP, Talen Horton-Tucker? No, 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 no. 7 days a week. Hopefully I said it 7 times. You get my point. Not making that deal. Where do you think Ben Simmons will go? And will he get traded? Predict it for us. Type Y for yes, he will get traded. Type N for no, he won't. Start flooding the chat and get those comments in. Matt Solomon, he's tuned in to us a lot. Do you think the Bulls, Mavericks, or Warriors will have a chance at a championship next year? I would say no on the Bulls just because, look, they're going to have to go from 10th in the Eastern Conference, which is where I think they ended up at, to get into, let's say, a top 5 seed. I like the deal of Vucevic. It didn't work out in the immediacy of the moment. I think they're going to be better next year. I don't think they're going to compete for a championship. As for the Warriors and the Mavericks, though, they should be in that championship conversation. Klay Thompson comes back, and if he's healthy off the ACL and Achilles injuries, I think the Warriors are a fascinating team. They could be in the top 5 in the West, so they will be Western Conference championship players. The Mavericks, say they make some big splashes in free agency. You have Luka Doncic, who's arguably a top 5 player, maybe a top 10 player. Anytime you have a player of that caliber, you're in the mix year in, year out. Lewis Adamson, what up? What free agent is most likely to sign with the Mavs? I was hoping that Kawhi Leonard was going to come down here to Dallas and team up with Luka, but now that he has gotten surgery on that partially torn ACL, according to Shams, I think he opts in to his deal with the Clippers. I wouldn't be surprised, if it's for 1 year, because his bird rights aren't in play yet. If he plays with the Clippers for a third season, his bird rights will kick in, meaning he could sign after next year for about $240, $250 million. If you're Kawhi Leonard, do you go back to the Clippers on a 1-year deal? Prove that you can stay healthy when you come back, let's say in maybe April, you make a run in the NBA playoffs, then you secure a crazy bag? Possibly. Other than that, could Kyle Lowry work well in Dallas? That's a potential option there. I think the Mavs, no doubt, are going to be serious players in free agency, though, because they got to surround Luka. Mr. Knick Knack Paddywhack, I'm bringing it back. Shaving my sack with Manscaped. Ranked the 5 best shooters in NBA history. That's really tough. Steph Curry, I think, has become the best shooter of all time. I think Klay Thompson is honestly number 2, and that's not recency bias. Ray Allen has to be in that conversation as well. Steve Kerr, in terms of the clutch gene, is also up there for me. Reggie Miller has to be on that list as well. Producer Perry, I know we've had a lot of these conversations. You have any other options who could be in that top 5 list other than the guys that I mentioned? Peja Stojakovic is another good one. He was getting buckets and making it rain from deep. So there you go. There's several players who are among the best in the history of the NBA in terms of shooters. I just think Steph Curry is up there. And honestly, is Dame Lillard up there at this point as well? I think he has to be. That's not recency bias. They're taking more threes now, which makes it harder, and those threes are even deeper. So, yeah, there you go. Yo, Hoopers, if you want the best NBA coverage here on YouTube, Chat Sports is where it's at. You see that link at the bottom of your screen, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Either go there or hit that red subscribe button down below and let Chat Sports be your NBA offseason hub for the latest NBA free agency news and rumors, NBA draft coverage. We will be live right here on Chat Sports for that, and help us get to 250,000 subscribers. Move ahead in this mailbag as we're humming along with this question from Senior H. Where does Lowry have the best chance for another ring? Lakers? Clippers? I actually like the Clippers for this reason. Kawhi, let's say best case scenario, doesn't come back until April of next year, and he comes back in time for a playoff run. Which player kind of allows you to survive all of next year without Kawhi? You team up Lowry and Paul George, maybe you have to trade away Patrick Beverley as well as Luke Kennard to free up some salary space. I like Lowry's fit there. I like him on Philly. Love him on the New York Knicks. Like him on the Dallas Mavericks as well. Maybe even the Miami Heat if the Heat decide to get rid of Goran Dragic. There are a bunch of teams that are going to be interested and invested in Kyle Lowry. Downtowny. Washington gets John Collins, Miles Turner, Kevin Huerter, pick 20. Atlanta gets Bradley Beal. The Pacers get Thomas Bryant, Tony Snell, pick 15, a 2022 Atlanta first. When y'all making the Hawks channel? First of all, let me catch my breath from that 3-team blockbuster trade. I don't think the Hawks are going to move any of their marquee players. Yes, John Collins is a restricted free agent. I think it's smart for him to re-sign. I think it's smart for the Hawks to give him the money. Miles Turner, out of Indiana, I think that's somewhat inevitable. I think Rick Carlisle kind of wants to rebuild and hit the reset button. You can get some good players and assets back for a guy like Miles Turner. Atlanta getting Bradley Beal, that's when I would think about this deal, because Trae Young and Bradley Beal would certainly be fun. Trae Young reminds me a lot of Steph Curry, and Steph Curry has proven that he can play with other superstars. Been able to do it with Clay. Been able to do it with Kevin Durant. He doesn't always need the ball. Trae Young, I don't think, always needs the ball. And honestly, you take a little less off his shoulders, I think that bodes well. I don't think this trade happens because Indy getting Thomas Bryant, Tony Snell, pick number 15, and a first-round pick in 2022 when the Hawks are going to be a good team, they're not getting anything really in that deal. Just talked about couple of teams there. Wizards, Hawks, Pacers. They need big off seasons for a variety of reasons, and all of them much different because the Hawks are a contending team. Which team needs a good off season the most, though, across the entire NBA? Get those votes in right now in the comment section. I think there's a lot of pressure on Philly to get it right. The Blazers to do whatever they got to do with Damian Lillard. A lot of pressure on the Warriors, Lakers as well. Get those votes in the comment section. Robert Bruce, my man. Hello, Chase. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Sam. Jeremy, he's putting his hand up. Sam, also putting his hand up. Producer Perry is producing the show, so make sure you say hello to Perry as well, Robert Bruce. Robert Williams has shown great potential when healthy. His contract's up at the end of the season. Do you try to re-sign him, please? Yeah, Robert Williams is a solid player. I think he's developed a lot since getting drafted out of Texas A&M. I think he's a high-flying big. He's a rim runner, very active around the rim, very good shot blocker because he's got pogo sticks as legs. As a backup option, I would think about it. But here's this too. In that Kemba deal that brought back Al Horford, you know who the Celtics also got? Moses Brown. And I think he could take the place of Robert Williams if the Celtics let him walk. AYM_Smoxe. Who are the new favorites to win it all next season, especially with the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, and Nets getting to full strength? What a phenomenal landscape it's going to be in the NBA. In the Eastern Conference, Bucks aren't going anywhere. Hawks are on the rise. Nets probably should win the championship next year if they're all healthy. Sixers are in that conversation as well. If the Knicks get a point guard, they could be dramatically improved. What are the Wizards going to do around Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook? Do they bring in another star player on the Western side of things? Lakers get healthy, and if they were healthy, I think they beat the Suns in the first round. They might be in the NBA Finals right now going for back-to-back rings. Clippers. Yes, Kawhi is going to be out until maybe the playoffs next year, but they're still going to be really good. Warriors going to take a step up. Nuggets with Jamal Murray coming back. Portland, if they still have Dame. Phoenix Suns, they're not going anywhere either. I mean, I just listed a bevy of teams who are real championship contenders. That's not a hyperbolic thing to say. Great position for the NBA to be in, that they have all of these teams that figure to be around for a long time. Mavericks also in that conversation. The list goes on and on. Jason Kreider, what's good, man? Who should be the Mavs free agent priority? Tim Hardaway Jr., Kawhi, Lonzo, or Lowry? Can a couple of them be the priority? Can you find a way to bring back Tim Hardaway Jr.? I like him as a floor spacer, as an above-average athlete, as a guy who can pour in some buckets. Kawhi Leonard, I don't think it's going to happen now, nor do I think the Mavericks should take that chance because of that partially torn ACL. Lonzo, maybe. Lowry, I like it even more if you're trying to win over the next 2 to 3 years. If that's the case, and you're making a decision between 2 point guards of Lonzo and Lowry, and if you think you can win a championship in this immediate window, I'd probably lean Lowry. Dom Towney with another question. Cavs get Unicorn/Terry. Mavs get Sexton and Love. Also, hey, Perry, with a heart.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Perry says, hey, beautiful. So the Cavs get Kristaps and Terry? I don't really understand what you're saying here. And the Mavs get Sexton and Love. I mean, let's focus on the Dallas Mavericks here, right? Because are you saying Terry Rozier goes to the Cavs? That would be a 3-team trade, right? I don't know. Anyway, Collin Sexton to the Mavericks, I'd really like it. I think Collin Sexton is disgruntled. I think he's one of the best up-and-coming guards in the NBA right now. I think he needs to get his way out of Cleveland. I just don't think it's sustainable for him to be there, nor do I think he wants to be there. And I think Collin Sexton and Luka would be a really, really exciting backcourt. I'm higher on Sexton than most. Now, would I rather have De'Aaron Fox over Collin Sexton? 2 guys who are in the similar category right now of being on the precipice of really being talked about as like superstar or even star players. I'd probably take De'Aaron Fox, but Sexton to the Mavericks, maybe Kevin Love to the Mavericks as well. I like it. You got to get rid of Kristaps Porzingis, though, Dom Towney, which you did highlight there in that trade because he's due to make more than $30 million. I just don't think he's worth it. And honestly, again, if you think the Mavs can compete right away, you bring in guys like Lowry, Kevin Love, and Collin Sexton, I think would be great bang for your buck as he enters the final year of his rookie contract.